My name is Reuben Damon Edwards, and I need you to understand something before I tell you this story. I am not a violent man. I am not a dramatic man. I am the kind of man who wakes up at 5 a.m., presses his shirts the night before, and keeps receipts. Every single one. So when my phone buzzed at 11:47 on a Tuesday night and I saw my brother Fabian's name light up the screen, I expected maybe a question about the rehearsal dinner timing. Maybe a thank you for the check I'd written 3 weeks prior. Maybe even just a meme, because that's what brothers do. What I got instead gutted me clean. Reuben, we need you to stay away from the wedding. Chanel and I talked, and honestly, you just don't fit into the vision we have for the day. You know how you get. It's better this way. No hard feelings. I read it 4 times. No hard feelings. Let me tell you something about those 3 words. They are the most dangerous words in the English language, because people only say them when they know they've just done something unforgivable. I sat on the edge of my bed in my apartment in Atlanta, the city skyline blinking through the blinds, and I felt a silence settle inside me that I can only describe as the moment before a storm decides what it's going to destroy. I thought about everything. The years. The sacrifices. The $125,000. And then I picked up my phone. And I started typing. Before I tell you what I typed back, you need to understand who Fabian is to me, because this isn't just a story about a wedding. This is a story about 2 brothers raised by one woman in a 2-bedroom apartment in Decatur, Georgia, and what money and a manipulative woman can do to a man's soul. Our mother, Patricia Edwards, we called her Miss Pat, worked double shifts at Grady Memorial Hospital for 22 years as a nursing aide. Her hands were always dry, always cracked from washing them. She smelled like hospital-grade soap and Jergens lotion she rubbed in every single night before bed. She never complained. Not once. Fabian is 3 years younger than me. Growing up, I was the responsible one. The one who got the scholarship, put himself through Georgia State, earned a master's in finance, and landed a senior analyst position at a firm downtown. I sacrificed my entire 20s for stability. Fabian was gifted differently. He could talk to anybody. Charm the rain from a cloud. He became a personal trainer, built decent clientele, and was doing fine, until Chanel Dupree walked into his gym 18 months ago. Chanel came from what I call aspirational money. Her parents had the appearance of wealth but none of the foundation. Designer bags on layaway. Vacations charged to maxed-out credit cards. And the moment she locked eyes on Fabian, I believe she saw something she wanted to use. 2 months after they met, Fabian called me breathless. Bro, she's the one. I've never felt like this. I remember staring at my ceiling, whispering to myself, Lord, please let me be wrong. I was not wrong. The first time Fabian asked me for money, it was 6 months into his relationship with Chanel. $3,400 for a birthday trip to Cancun. It's her birthday, Reuben. I can't let her down. She's been through a lot. I asked what she'd been through. He couldn't answer. Just said she deserved it. I transferred the money because he was my brother and because I believed in keeping family standing tall. Then came $8,000 2 months later for an engagement ring. Not a regular ring. A custom-cut, 3-stone ring from a jeweler in Buckhead that Chanel had personally selected and emailed him the invoice for. I remember staring at that email she'd forwarded to him, which he forwarded straight to me, and feeling something cold crawl up my spine. She had already picked it. She'd already sent the invoice. All Fabian had to do was forward it and ask me to pay. I'll pay you back when my client roster builds, Fabian said. You don't have to pay me back, I told him. But Fabian, take your time. You don't have to rush this. She's not rushing me. This is what I want. His voice carried that edge it gets when it's already decided and just needs permission. I gave it. I shouldn't have. What I didn't know was that Chanel had already made a list, a literal, physical list, of everything she wanted for the wedding. Venue, catering, florals, dress, honeymoon. She shared that list with Fabian, then told him, sweet as sugarcane, I know your brother loves you. Real family shows up. That list totaled $142,000. Fabian brought it to me on a Sunday after church. I know what you're thinking. Reuben, why did you say yes? What kind of man loans his brother $125,000? The kind whose mother looked him in the eye from a hospital bed 2 years prior, oxygen tube under her nose, and whispered, "Take care of your brother, baby. He needs you more than he knows." Miss Pat died 11 days later from complications after a stroke. Fabian fell apart. I held him up. At the funeral. At the burial. Through the weeks he couldn't get out of bed. I was there every single time. Because that's what she asked of me. So when Fabian sat across from me that Sunday with a manila folder and a rehearsed speech, I already felt the answer forming before he finished talking. He was nervous. Picking at a hangnail. Wouldn't look directly at me. Reuben, I wouldn't ask if I had another way. But this wedding, Chanel needs it to be right. Her family's coming from Charlotte, Houston, everywhere. I need $125,000. I'll sign whatever you want. I'll make payments. I looked at him for a long time. I thought about Miss Pat's hands. Cracked and dry. Washing other people's wounds for 22 years so we could have a chance. You don't have to sign anything, I said. You're my brother. His face broke with relief. And I'm not ashamed to admit, I was happy to give it. That's what love does to you. It makes you believe the person you're giving everything to is the same person who'd never use it against you. I wrote the check the following Monday. $125,000. The bulk of my savings. And I kept the receipt. Let me tell you exactly who Chanel Dupree is, because she is the kind of woman who studied people the way a surgeon studies anatomy, purely to find where to cut. She was 29, beautiful in that calculated way, the kind of woman who always photographed at the perfect angle because she practiced. Her Instagram was a highlight reel of luxury she hadn't earned. She had 40,000 followers and a ring light in every room of the apartment she and Fabian moved into together. The apartment, by the way, that I was also quietly helping subsidize through Fabian. The first time I met her properly, not a quick hello, but a real sit-down dinner, she looked at me across the table and said something that made my stomach drop. Fabian talks about you like you're basically his father figure. That's so sweet. It must feel good to be needed. She smiled when she said it. Fabian laughed awkwardly. I just nodded. It feels good to be needed. Not thank you for everything you've done. Not we're so grateful. Just, it must feel good to be needed. Like I was a function. A resource. A vending machine that happened to love her fiancé. After dinner, I pulled Fabian aside by the car. She's transactional, D. I need you to see that. He stiffened immediately. Don't do that. You don't know her. I know what I just saw. She's nervous around you. That's all. She wants you to like her. I drove home in silence that night, replaying her words on a loop. It must feel good to be needed. I called my best friend, Jordan Smith, the moment I got home. He answered on the second ring. Fam, I said. Something is wrong. Jordan told me something that night I didn't want to hear but needed to absorb. He said, Reuben, man, when someone shows you who they are in the first conversation, believe them. Don't negotiate with it. I tucked that away. I tried to stay present. Tried to stay open. But over the next few months, the invitations stopped coming. First it was the engagement party. Chanel told Fabian it was intimate, just her side of the family. Fine. I sent a gift anyway. A $400 Williams-Sonoma set because I was raised right. Then the suit fitting. Fabian texted casually, Chanel wants her brother to be my best man. Don't be weird about it. Don't be weird about it. I wasn't his best man. At his own wedding. The wedding I funded. Then the bridal brunch, I wasn't invited, which made sense, but I found out through a mutual cousin, Octavia, that Chanel had stood up during the toast and said, I'm so glad Fabian has chosen a new family. People who truly understand our vision. Our vision. Octavia called me immediately after. She was whispering like she was scared to be heard. Reuben, she toasted to him choosing a new family. In front of everyone. Your Aunt Bernice was there and she just sat there with her mouth open. My Aunt Bernice. Miss Pat's older sister. Who helped raise us when Mom worked nights. I sat with that information for 3 days. I didn't call Fabian. I wanted to see if he would call me. If he would explain. If he even knew I knew. He never called. That's when I understood. Fabian wasn't being manipulated blindly anymore. He was choosing this. So now you understand why that text hit different. Ruben, we need you to stay away from the wedding. Chanel and I talked and honestly, you just don't fit into the vision we have for the day. You know how you get. It's better this way. No hard feelings. You know how you get. I want you to sit with that phrase for a moment. Because how I get is apparently present, protective, and unwilling to pretend everything is fine when it isn't. That's apparently a problem. That's apparently disqualifying. I set my phone down on the nightstand. I walked to my kitchen. I poured a glass of water. I drank it slowly. And then I opened my filing cabinet, the one in my home office, and I pulled out a folder I'd been keeping since the very beginning. Inside it, every Venmo transfer, every wire confirmation, every text where Fabian said I'll pay you back, every receipt, every invoice. $125,000. Documented. Organized. Dated. I took a photo of the folder's contents. Clear. Well lit. Every number visible. Then I went back to my phone. Pulled up Fabian's text thread. And I typed the words that would blow this whole thing open. Perfect. Then I need you to pay back the $125,000 I loaned you for the venue and the dress by tomorrow. Account and routing number below. I'll give you until midnight. I attached the photo. I hit send. Then I put my phone face down, turned off my lamp, and lay in the dark. For the first time in months, I slept soundly. My phone was a grenade by morning. 17 missed calls. 11 from Fabian. 3 from Chanel, who had never once called me directly in 18 months. 2 from my Aunt Bernice. 1 from a number I didn't recognize. I made coffee first. Slow dripped it. Sat at my kitchen table watching the sun come over the Atlanta skyline and felt something I hadn't felt in over a year. Clarity. I called Aunt Bernice back first. Baby, what is going on? She asked. Her voice was half worry, half barely contained satisfaction. He excluded me from the wedding, Auntie. After everything. Silence. Then, Lord have mercy. Another silence. How much did you give him, Ruben? 125,000. She made a sound like I'd just told her someone died. Then Fabian called again. I picked up. Ruben, are you serious right now? His voice was cracked, high-pitched. I could hear Chanel in the background, sharp whisper hissing something. As serious as your text, I said calmly. You can't do this. The venue is already booked. The dress is already made. You can't do this. Fabian. I kept my voice even. You told me I don't fit your vision. That's fine. But the $125,000 that funded that vision, that needs to come home. That was a gift. And there it was. The pivot. The reframe. Suddenly a documented loan becomes a gift when repayment is requested. I have every transfer, every text where you said you'd pay me back. I have the invoice for Chanel's dress with my name on the wire. Would you like me to refresh your memory? The line went very, very quiet. Then Chanel grabbed the phone. Her voice was ice. Controlled. The voice of someone who had rehearsed this conversation in her head for months and was now finally getting to perform it. Ruben. I knew you were going to be a problem from day one. Hello, Chanel. You think you can just wave money around and own people? Fabian is your brother. Not your employee. Not your charity case. And this little stunt you're pulling? It's embarrassing. It's petty. And it's not going to work. I let her finish. Are you done? I asked. Don't patronize me. Chanel, I didn't call. You called me. And since we're being honest, I have documented proof of every dollar I gave your wedding. I have the venue contract with my financing attached. I have the Kleinfeld invoice with my wire confirmation. I have texts from Fabian dated 9 months ago saying, and I quote, "I'll pay every dollar back, bro, I swear on mama." Would you like me to forward those to you? Silence. This is about control, she finally said. Quieter now. Less certain. No, I said. This is about $125,000. Everything else is just conversation. She hung up. 20 minutes later, I got a text from the unknown number I hadn't recognized. It was a screenshot, Chanel's group chat with her bridesmaids. She'd sent a voice memo. One of her bridesmaids, a woman named Destiny, had screenshot it and sent it to Octavia. Octavia forwarded it to me. In that voice memo, Chanel said, he was never supposed to ask for it back. That's why I didn't let Fabian put anything in writing. We're fine. He has nothing. She thought I had nothing. She was about to learn what receipts really mean. I called Jordan at 8 a.m. and read him the voice memo transcript word for word. There was a pause so long I thought the call dropped. Then, bro. She planned this. From the beginning, I confirmed. Jordan Smith is not just my best friend. He is a licensed attorney in the state of Georgia, specializing in civil litigation. He's been my friend since sophomore year at Georgia State when we stayed up until 3 a.m. arguing about whether Nas or Jay-Z won the beef. He is meticulous, ruthless in a courtroom, and completely loyal. Ruben, that voice memo is an admission. She's acknowledging intentional circumvention of a loan agreement. Combined with your wire confirmations and Fabian's texts, you have a civil case. I don't want to sue my brother, Jordan. You might not have to. Sometimes filing the paperwork is enough. He was right. By 10 a.m., Jordan had drafted a formal demand letter on his firm's letterhead. It outlined the full $125,000 as a documented personal loan, referenced each wire transfer by date and amount, cited Fabian's own text messages as verbal confirmation of debt, and gave a repayment deadline of 72 hours before legal proceedings would be initiated. He CC'd the venue. He CC'd the wedding coordinator, a woman named Simone Beaumont who, as it turned out, had worked with Jordan on a prior case and was not particularly fond of non-payment situations. That letter hit Fabian's email at 10:43 a.m. By 10:51, Fabian was calling Jordan's office directly. By 11 o'clock, Chanel had posted a vague Instagram story about toxic family members who want to see you fail with a black background and a broken heart emoji. 40,000 followers watching. 0 of them knowing the full story. Yet. By that evening, the entire Edwards family knew. Aunt Bernice had called Fabian's godmother, Sister Claudette, who called 3 cousins, who called everyone else. Within 6 hours, I had received 15 texts of support, for phone calls, and 1 voicemail from Uncle Ray, Miss Pat's brother, that lasted 4 minutes and 40 seconds and ended with, "Your mother would be livid. That boy has lost his mind over a woman." But not everyone was on my side. Fabian's godfather, Deacon Harold Sims, called me that evening with a different message. "Ruben, I understand you're hurt. But going legal on your own brother? 2 weeks before his wedding? Think about what your mother would say." And there it was, the manipulation mirror. Using Miss Pat against me when it got convenient. "Deacon Sims," I said, measured and slow. My mother also said to keep receipts. She worked 22 years in that hospital to make sure we had something. I kept those receipts. What Fabian did with that money is on him. Silence. "I'll pray for the both of you," he finally said. "Thank you, sir," I replied. "God knows the truth." The call ended. What I didn't know yet was that while this family civil war raged, Chanel was making her own moves. She'd reached out to a local wedding blogger, someone with 200,000 followers, and pitched her version of the story. A controlling, jealous brother. A vindictive man who couldn't accept his brother's happiness. A loan that was always understood to be a gift. The post went up at 9 p.m. By midnight, it had 3,000 shares. My phone lit up with strangers calling me a monster. I opened my laptop. I uploaded every document. I am not a social media man. I don't post my food. I don't announce my wins. I have 340 followers on Instagram, mostly co-workers, a few cousins, Jordan, and Aunt Bernice who only uses it to post church announcements. But at 12:34 a.m., I posted. No photo. Just text. Black background, white font. The way people post when something is too big for a picture. I wrote, my brother texted me 4 days before his wedding, a wedding I funded, to say I don't fit the vision. I responded by asking for my $125,000 back. Here's the paperwork. I attached a PDF. Every wire transfer. Every text from Fabian confirming the loan. The voice memo transcript. The demand letter. All of it. Within 2 hours, the post had 40,000 views. By morning, 300,000. By the time Jordan called me at 7 a.m., it was past 1 million. The wedding blogger deleted her post. Chanel's Instagram went private. Fabian's phone went straight to voicemail. But here's the twist I never saw coming. The venue called. Not to discuss payment. The manager, a woman named Gloria Johnston, called to tell me that Chanel had put my name, without my knowledge, as the guarantor on the full venue contract. Not just a donor. A guarantor. Which meant if that wedding proceeded and anything went unpaid, I was legally liable for the full remaining balance. $47,000. I hadn't signed anything. My name had been forged on the dotted line. I sat completely still when Gloria told me. Then I called Jordan. Jordan, I said. It just became criminal. The wedding did not happen. When Jordan contacted the venue with the forgery evidence, a signature comparison that took exactly one handwriting analyst and 48 hours, Gloria Johnston cancelled the booking immediately and refunded the deposit directly to my account. $18,500. Back where it belonged. Chanel hired a lawyer within 24 hours. A fast-talking man named Gerald Fitch who sent Jordan a letter claiming emotional damages and defamation. Jordan laughed out loud when he read it. He laughed for a long time. The civil case moved forward. Fabian, faced with documented evidence, the forgery exposure, and a family that had largely turned its back on Chanel's narrative, agreed to a repayment plan. Structured. Legally binding. Every dollar accounted for. He called me the night before he signed. Reuben. His voice was small. Like he was 19 again and had just broken something in the house. I don't know what happened to me. I didn't answer right away. I let the quiet sit. She happened to you, I finally said. And you let her. I'm sorry, bro. I know. That was all. We didn't hug it out. We didn't cry. We just acknowledged. Sometimes that's all broken things can do at first, acknowledge. Chanel Dupree left Fabian 6 weeks later. Packed 2 suitcases. Took the ring. He let her. Fabian is in counseling now. His trainer clients came back. Slowly. He called Aunt Bernice last Sunday and stayed on the phone for 2 hours. As for me, I still press my shirts the night before. I still wake up at 5 a.m. I still keep every receipt. But now I know something I didn't before. Love without boundaries isn't love. It's a liability. And I refuse to be anyone's liability ever again.